Now let's discuss the conditions of data processing consent. We are covering the data protection compliance course. If you have not watched the previous parts of this course, I would request you to please watch all previous parts from part 1 to part 9, in which we discuss different key concepts. So in this particular video, we are discussing the conditions of data processing consent. As we discussed that the data subject would be giving the consent to share the information or data with the organization, and that data belongs to the data subject, that is the individual. So the consent should be freely given by the data subject, should be specific, informed, and unambiguous elements should be considered while sharing the data and while providing the data consent. So the data subject should also be informed that they may freely withdraw the consent given at any time after giving the consent. The data controller, the organization that is collecting the information of the data subject, should inform the data subject or the customer that they have the right to freely withdraw their consent given at the time of sharing the information, and the withdrawal would be in different circumstances and cases, like for example, if the customer is not considering to pursue the relationship with the organization, if the purpose is not fulfilled on either party, let's say for example. So the data subject or the individual should have a right to freely withdraw from the consent that he or she provided at the time of sharing the data with the data controller for data processing purposes. So these were the general conditions related to the data subject's consent, and I would request you to please subscribe and share the videos with your colleagues, friends, and your community, so that they may get the overall understanding of the data processing. And please like the video as well, and press the bell notification, so that the next parts, whenever I will upload, you will get the notification. I have tried to cover the broader concepts of the data protection compliance in overall course. So if you have not watched the previous parts, I would request you to please go and watch. In part 1 we discussed the course overview. In part 2 we discussed the importance of this course. In part 3 we discussed different concepts like data subject, data controller, and data processor was also discussed. Part 5 was related to data processing. Part 6 was related to the key principles. This is very important to know what are the key principles of data processing. We discussed in detail in the previous parts. Then we moved on to the lawfulness of data processing, and we discussed the conditions here. So next we will be discussing different key concepts. So let's move on.